If you're wondering how to start calisthenics as a beginner, then this video is for you. I'm Nicholas, the founder of Online Calisthenics, and today we are going to discuss how to build your own calisthenics routine. So I'm here to give you some tips for scheduling and planning your weeks and achieve the best results you can. Now let's dive into it. First, I highly recommend using full body workouts as often as possible, and especially if you're a very beginner. To make sure that you get a well-rounded training, I suggest dividing your sessions between pulling and pushing exercise along with some legs and core workout. You can always adjust the ratios and volume of this exercise within each session, but this is a solid starting point. For beginners, I recommend Superset. That involves performing 2 exercises back to back with minimum rest. I would recommend a superset of pull-ups and push-ups and going from 10 to 1 on each exercise. And basically that would be doing 10 pull-ups followed by 10 push-ups. Then you would take a rest, then you would do 9 pull-ups, then 9 push-ups, and so on until you reach 1 rep for each. And if you can't perform the basic movement yet, you're completely free to use alternative movements like knee push-ups or wall push-ups and Australian rows or band assisted pull-ups for the pulling exercise. And if you're wondering how to do those movements, I made a video for total beginners breaking down each movement right here. Now let's move on to the leg section. Once you've completed your pull and pushing exercises, take a 2, 3, even 5-minute rest before starting your leg workout. And this section consists of exercises like hip raises, lunges, squats, and rather than focusing on a specific amount of reps, we're going to use time here and aim for a minute of work of each exercise at least, and you can break it down into 2 sessions of 30 seconds for each exercise. If you can do 2 minutes per exercise, be my guest and go for that. Holding the last rep of each set can also provide an extra burn and contribute to long-term progress. Now at the very end of the session, we still have to work on our core, and that includes exercises like planks, supermans, knee raises, dead hangs, or hollow bodies. And remember, that's just a template and a starting point, so you can customize it based on your preference, goals, and fitness level. And feel free to replace or add exercises as needed. Now that we've covered the workout templates, let's discuss how to plan your weeks. We're going to go over a 3 to 4 day workout split that allows for proper recovery and makes sure that each muscle group gets worked throughout the week. But let's start with the warm-up. Before every day of your workout, you want to warm up for at least 5 minutes. That includes light cardio like jogging, jumping jacks, or jump rope, and some mobility drills. So make sure that your hips, shoulders, and wrists are properly warm before you get into any training. Let's move on to day 1. So after you warm up, day 1 would include a superset of pulling and pushing. So you can adapt. If you can do pull-ups, use an alternative. If you can do push-ups, use an alternative as well. But make sure you pull and push throughout that session. Then you move on to a leg exercise. And for this, we're choosing the squat for day 1. Use an alternative or an easier variation if you can't do full squats yet. And then we'll finish with the core and we'll use simple planks. Now let's move on to day 2. Same thing, warm up before the workout, and then we go for a superset of Australian rows or an alternative of it, and dips or an alternative as well. And for leg exercise, we're going to go for lunges. And then we'll finish with some core and use some planks and Superman holds where we alternate each other. Let's move on to day 3. Day 3, we start with the legs. And we're going to go for a superset of hip raises and squats. And you can do 10 reps of each just like you would for pull-ups and push-ups, except you work your legs. Then we move on to the pushing exercise for that day, which is push-ups or an alternative, and finish with the core with knee raises. Now last but not least, let's go for day 4. So I highly recommend you go for 4 days at a time. If you're very beginner and your condition doesn't allow it, start with 3, but try to add that 4th day as quick as you can. And after you've done your warm-up for the day 4, we're going to start with the superset of core. We're going to just start with dead hangs and hollow bodies. That's a really good combination to work your grip and core and make sure that you don't skip that body part through the week. Once you're done with your core, you can go for your pushing exercise like a dip or an alternative, and then finish with a leg exercise like a squat or an alternative. It's important to listen to your body and take rest days as needed. And make sure to go for something like 2 days on, 1 day off pattern. That's a great start. Throughout the year, you can also make adjustments because your body has to recover and goes through cycles, and keep making it challenging every 1 to 3 months. So once you get used to a routine, then change it up, tweak it up a little bit, make it a bit harder so that your body breaks a plateau. And last but not least, don't forget about the importance of nutrition and hydration for optimal performance and recovery. If you're a beginner and you start training, after 3 to 6 months, you're no longer a complete beginner. So make sure that your food and your water intake is proper so that you don't hit a wall. So I hope these tips help you create an effective workout plan. And if you're ready to take your training to the next level, you can join the Online Calisthenics Academy, come train with me, and I'll see you in the next video.